Hi, this is Norm Gassett. I've been chairman of registration since the first reunion, and I'd like to welcome everybody here. It's been a very slow morning this morning. We haven't had the big mob that we usually do, but that's fine. We'll get through.
I'm Ann Schnibby, and I'm on the welcoming committee, and I'm welcoming you here. How many reunions have you made?
About 8 or 9, I think 9.
Just like us.
Yeah, really. This guy used to work for me, you know.
Is that right?
Those pumps. Yeah, really. One of my better workers.
Oh, okay, very good. This is all this information is free, and a lot of it is from, most of it is from the Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
This is the Sampson flyer, and take them and send them to your friends, get them interested in the organization.
I'll do that.
Yeah, right, and have a wonderful time.
This is my wife, Beverly. Up there.
Hi, Beverly.
Up there you got
Nice to see you.
Welcome again to our 10th Sampson reunion. I would like to introduce the girls selling the logos. To my extreme left is Rosemary Smith, Ginger Koval, Brenda Callie, and our First Lady here, Elaine Ball.
Hi. We expect 1,000 people here today, and I think we're coming very close. Everyone's thrilled with visiting the museum, the new wing of the museum.
Dom Zacchio here.
And Jack Benz over this side with the hat.
We're selling tickets to all the events of the for the weekend. Tickets for boat rides, tickets for shopping mall, tickets for the banquet, and doing a brisk business.
Hi, I'm Helen Benz. I'm treasurer of the Sampson Auxiliary. We're working very hard taking dues and also applications for new members. We like to have lots of members in our group. Everybody seems to be having a great time, and we're enjoying ourselves too. Even though we have to work hard, we're enjoying ourselves. Thank you.
I'm Anna Hobart, and I'm selling raffle tickets. There's 6 for $5 or $1 a piece, and the drawing will be tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
I'm selling tickets for our Sampson painting, and if the gentleman will come around to the other side after he tapes this, he can get a nice picture of our sailor.
Bill Andrew, second vice president. Running the raffle here, doing great. Having a great time.
Hi, gosh, it's great to be here with the boys here from Company 474. We finally found another old buddy from way back in 1944. Emil Tulik here. We have here Bill Wessinger, Chester Litwack, Alice Pass, Irene Nolder, Walden Nolder, and Joe Pass himself. It's great to be here. Thanks a bunch.
I'm Dan O'Neill, it's my wife Mary, and we've been coming for this is the 8th year.
Hi, howdy. My name is Ernstine from New Jersey. I'm from Whiting, New Jersey.
My name's Huey Matthews. I'm district rep from West Mifflin, Pennsylvania. I come into Sampson in January 1944 and graduated in February in 44 and sent to Little Creek, Virginia. From there, went to mine sweeping school, then sent to Cleveland, Ohio to wait assignment of the ship in Lorain, Ohio, and we were signed to USS Marble AM 262 on June 9th, 1944. After the war, I got married and have 3 grown sons, and one son is retired from the United States Army as a first sergeant after 23 years.
I'm Howard Johnson from about up to New York, a little burg, about 100 miles from here. I was here November, December of 43 over in D Unit, which is Woods now. And I enjoyed my stay in the Navy. I was torpedoman, and I crossed the United States 8 times, the Pacific 4 times, for us 21, so I guess I had enough traveling. I came home, I got married, I've been married 50 years, and my wife and I enjoy coming every year.
I'm Harry Lichtenfels from Robinson, Pennsylvania, and I'm a district rep for the Sampson Navy Vets, and I've been coming up here for about 8 years, and I've come here to meet my buddy here that took boot camp with me. I haven't seen since 1944.
I'm Robert Baxter from Tenafly, New Jersey. This is my 4th reunion. I came up here in February 25th of 1943. I've been trying to find somebody that's been in the same unit or company that I was in. I still can't do it. Back when we came here in 43, it was so cold that the lake was frozen.
Dick Brady, up here in October 44, stayed here for radio school, live in Cape Cod, father of 9 children. That's why we moved to Cape Cod, to get away from them. Very cold, I remember when we were up here that year. I play softball down the Cape. I'm still playing. I figure when the time comes, it'll be between 3rd and home. Somebody said, why don't you at least make home?
Hi, I'm Ed Wenz from Marshfield, Massachusetts. Was here in 1943. Left here, went on the USS Augusta.
My name is Lou Meyer. I'm from Hauppauge, Long Island, New York. I came up here to Sampson in January 1944. Went through boot camp in 5 weeks, took amphibious training, and then was shipped out on an LST.
I was here in 1944 and late sometime in October, and I spent a couple of terms here. Basically, I wound up with scarlet fever, and then I wound up with another unit. But I finally got out of here in January of 45. I had a great time here during my time of training, and something that you'll never forget. I've been here now, this is my 6th year at this reunion, and I hope to be here many, many more. I'm from New York, from Plandome, New York, and I hope, as I said, to be here again next year.
I'm Tom Reese. I'm from Dallas, Pennsylvania. I'm a World War II veteran, 1943, and I came to Sampson to see if I could see anybody I knew. How about that?
I'm Henry Shankin from East Rochester, New York. This is my 10th reunion. Been to every one of them. Thank you.
Hi,
My name is Harriet Meyer. I came up one of many reunions so the men could relive the war, and we have a lot of fun.
Hello, my name is Laura LaCastro, and I come from Long Island, New York, and I'm here with my husband, and I believe this is the 5th or 6th time we're coming here, and we really enjoy it. Every time we come here, we enjoy it very much, and we meet lovely people, and it brings us back to the past, which is nice, and up to the future, which is also nice. And we look forward to having a great time. Thank you.
My name is Donald Teeter. I'm from 28 miles down the road towards Ithaca. I worked here in 1942 when they were building the base. We cut all the sod at about 15 miles south of here and moved it here for the drill fields. Then I come in 1942 in November. I came here as one of the 18th company on the base. Left in January 43. Then in 1951 came back through here and remodeled the base for the Air Force. So I got a lot of history here, right? My brother Harry was here 1945. Yeah, it's not too many brothers combinations are here. We're one of them anyway.
My name is Murray Aldrich. I was here in October 1943, and I was always called Stub as a boy. And from Sampson, I went to Great Lakes, became a signalman. I went to the South Pacific, and I was in the amphibious forces. and we were in the New Guinea campaign and the liberation of the Philippine Islands. And from that time, we came back to the United States in 1946, and I stayed in the Navy Reserve in 1958. And I had a great time and learned a lot in the Navy.
My name is Rod Moray, Bowling Green, Virginia. They made me put me in charge of about 40 or 50 men to reconstruct all the barracks that had been torn down by the company that had left before I came in. So that was the extent of my military training.
I just had an idea to make something for the Navy Day down here. So got the sewing machine going and sewed up a lot of pieces and made up a banner for them. But we're having a little bad luck. We aren't getting this thing in the air. No wind.
This is Lloyd Powell from Faulkner, New York, and this is my wife, Cora. I'm a District 6 Area Director, and we're having fun tonight. We're very, very glad to be here.
My name is Clarence Schaefer. This is my wife, Betsy. We're happy to be here, and we hope we can make it next year.
Well, Russell Zeltner and Grace Zeltner from Washington Township, New Jersey.
My name is Joe Wines. That's my wife, Ian. We're from Partlow, Virginia, down the other side of God's country, Richmond. Richmond and Fredericksburg.
I'm Russ DeLawbell, radio man, third class from the USS Mount McKinley after graduating from Sampson back in '44. Now living in Syracuse, New York.
My name is Charlie Forsell. I'm from Delran, New Jersey, retired chief of the USS Canberra, and formerly went through boot camp here in the F9 building unit, but I don't remember my company. Sorry about that. You aware that I was in F Unit 9 in September to November 1943. Anybody remembers our company number? Maybe you can contact me. Thank you.
Bernie English, and I'm from Iowa, Story City, 1943.
Lee Johnston, I'm from Waterloo, 1945.
Bob Maines, I'm from Beaver Falls. I am a district rep of Beaver Falls. And we're here, me and my wife. She's my helper. She's my secretary. And I'm glad to be here. So it's our 5th year here, and everything's so wonderful.
Hello there, I'm just Harry Nickelfels, the district rep from Robinson, Pennsylvania. I've been coming up here for about 9 years now, and I'm looking for a fellow that took boot camp 52 years ago, and I should be able to meet him. This is one great event for us and that, and just remember sort of the old times and how we used to do.
All right, he told me I started at boot camp in Sampson and ended up as an admiral. So everybody for staying long enough, everybody makes admiral. So I'm glad to be here for the Sampson reunion. Thank you.
with a bloke named Smokey. He loved her, though he was cokey. He took her down to Chinatown, and he showed her how to kick the gong around. Heidi, 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 Heidi. Oh. Heidi, 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 hey. Heidi, Heidi, Heidi. She had a dream about the King of Sweden. He gave her things that she was needing. He gave her a...
Well, if you ain't gonna marry me, then I'm gonna see you don't marry nobody. Nobody is except this here Well, hold me now. Hey there, what does you think you're doing there? What does it look like I'm doing here, right? Get out of here, this don't concern you. Well, it looks to me like you're blocking them tracks. And them tracks belong to Uncle Sam. And I work for Uncle Sam. And I'm gonna suck you.
Oh, Papa, you're my hero.
And early Monday morning, he's laying on his back, high above the church floor, painting the ceiling. And along about 8:30, 8:45, he happens to look down at the floor below him, and there, at the altar rail, is a little Italian widow praying. Pasquale's full of help. Figures he'll have a little fun. So he leans over the scaffolding and he says, "Hey, down there, this is Jesus Christ talking." Gets no reaction. Little louder, "Hey, down there, this isn't Jesus Christ talking." Still no reaction. Finally, very audibly, he says, "Hey, down there, this isn't Jesus Christ talking." And the widow, hardly moving a muscle, says, "Shut up your mouth, I'm talking to your mother." My Italian wife told me be sure and tell that story. Love that story. Marvelous story I heard only recently. No ethnicity, hard to say. No ethnicity to this story. It's a marvelous story. Two guys are walking their dogs. One has a very large dog, a Weimaraner. The other fellow has the smallest dog you could possibly imagine, a Chihuahua. You can hold it in your hand. And they're walking along, and the guy with the Weimaraner says to his friend, he said, "Hey, Harry, have you had dinner yet?" The other guy says, "No." First fellow says, "What do you say we have dinner?" The guy with the Chihuahua said, "What do we do with the dogs?" The fellow with the Weimaraner said, "We'll take them with us." Well, the other guy says, "You can't take them with us. No good restaurant will allow us in there with the dogs." The guy with the Weimaraner says, "You just follow my lead." So they walk a block or so, and they go into this very nice little French bistro, and there's a maitre d' standing there in a tuxedo. And the guy with the Weimaraner walks up to the maitre d', he said, "We'd like a table for two, please." The maitre d' says, "Sir, you can't bring that animal in the dining room." The guy says, "Why not? It's my seeing eye dog." "Oh," the maitre d' says, "in that case, of course, you can bring the dog in." He turns to the other fellow. He says, "Sir," he says, "you can't bring that doggy in the dining room." The guy says, "Why not? It's my seeing eye dog." The maitre d' kind of looks him up and down and says, "Wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me that a Chihuahua is a seeing eye dog?" The guy says, "You're kidding me. They gave me a Chihuahua?" Fellow is sitting on the New York subway next to a blind man. And the blind man turns to him and says, you know, I was born blind. I'm never been able to see. And in summertimes I'm a wonder how I'm a look. Is my hair cut the right? Does it shine on my shoes? Does the jacket match the pants? Is the tie look good? The fella said, hey, you really look terrific, but you gotta get rid of that accent. You're black. Here's a story all of us can relate to, I think. Sydney and Rebecca are seated on a park bench in Biscayne Park in Miami. They're enjoying the sun, they're in their 80s, enjoying their retired years. And Rebecca turns to Sydney and she said, you know, Sydney, you know what I could be eating now? He said, no, what could you be eating? She said, I could be eating a banana split. He said, well, so I'll go get it for you. She said, you do that for me? He said, sure. Just tell me how you want it. She said, well, you better write this down. It's complicated. He said, I don't have to write nothing down. She said, all right. She said, I want the banana split in the middle. And she said, I want 4 flavors of ice cream. I want the boysenberry. I think you better write this down. He said, I don't have to write the goddamn thing down. Now just tell me what you want. She said, well, I want boysenberry ice cream, chocolate ice cream, vanilla ice cream. And then she said, he said, don't mention that again. I don't have to write nothing down. She said, all right, I want butterscotch syrup, cherry syrup, a little bit of caramel, some whipped cream, and a cherry. He left. He comes back about 20 minutes later, he's carrying a little paper sack. She opens it up, there's a bagel inside. She said, God damn it, I told you to write it down. He said, what did I forget? She said, the cream cheese. This fellow suspected his wife of infidelity. And he left his job early one afternoon, and he came home early, about 2:30, and he quietly opened the apartment door, and the minute the door opened, he got a whiff of cigar smoke. Now he knew something was amiss, because his wife hadn't smoked cigars since their honeymoon. He followed the aroma through the apartment, and it led him to the kitchen. And there on the kitchen counter was an ashtray with a freshly lit Havana in it. The guy went berserk. And he happened to glance out the kitchen window, and there, 8 stories below, was a man running down the alley. This guy just went crazy. He grabbed the refrigerator, tore it out of its moorings, and threw it through the window, and it landed on the running man and killed him. In the process, the husband lost his balance and fell out of the open window to his death. Funny story, madam, isn't it? He's enjoying it. Moments later, the husband finds himself in a long line of people standing in front of the gates of heaven. And down the line is an angel with a clipboard, walking up to each person, talking to them briefly, making a notation, and walking to the next. And the angel gets to the fellow in front of the husband, and he says to this fellow, he said, sir, could you tell me how you died? The fellow said, I was out jogging, and I took this shortcut through an alley, and something very heavy fell on me. And the angel so noted that, and he went up to the husband, he said, sir, he said, could you tell me how you died? Very embarrassed, the husband said, I fell out of my own kitchen window. And the angel noted that, and he went to the next fellow. He said, sir, could you tell me how you died? The guy said, you're not going to believe this. I was minding my own business, sitting in this refrigerator. were out celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. They're having a candlelit dinner in a little French bistro. And after dinner, they were having some Napoleon brandy. And Morris took Rhoda's hand in his, and he said, Rhoda, I want you to know, in 50 years of marriage, I have never so much as looked at another woman, no less touched one. Rhoda started to cry. He said, what's the matter? She said, well, Morris, you embarrass me. He said, why? She said, well, I have to tell you that I cheated on you 3 times. He said, what? He was devastated. He said, how could you do such a thing for me? She said, well, let me explain. She said, do you remember 47 years ago, you wanted to start the business and nobody would lend you any money? And then that banker came along. She said, I slept with that banker, that's why I lent you the money. He said, what about the second time? She said, do you remember 10 years ago you wanted to sell the business? Nobody wanted to buy it. Nobody wanted to pay you your price, and then that fella from Chicago came. I slept with him. That's why he bought the business. Morris is feeling a little better at this point. He said, what about the third time? She said, well, do you remember 6 years ago? You wanted to be president of the temple. So bad you wanted to be president of the temple, and you were 47 votes short.
Journey back to 1943. Everybody remember this? Kiss me once, kiss me twice, kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time. Haven't felt like this, my dear, since can't remember when. It's been a long, long time. Kiss me once, twice, kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time.
Don't fix
You'll
me
never know just how much I miss you. I speak your name in my every prayer. Chicago way. He had a trumpet everyone could play. He was the top man of his class. But when his number came up, he was gone with the draft. He's in the army now, born reveille. He's a boogie-woogie to the what company be. He made love to his Uncle Sam. He didn't know that he couldn't jam. And the cat seemed to understand. Because the next time they went out and hired a band. Company jumped 20 blows reveille. Boogie-woogie do the what company be. I need a
Young for a sailor. Set up, set up.
I want to be like her when I grow up. She's wonderful. Thank you, Lynn. God bless you.
Won't you come home, Bill Bailey? Won't you come home? She runs the whole day long. I'll do the cooking, darling. I'll pay the rent. And the wife done you wrong. Remember that rainy evening I threw you out. All is nothing but a fine tooth comb. I know I'm to blame. Ain't that a love that a rotten shame? Well, baby, won't you please come? Baby, won't you please come? Baby, won't you come on home?
My name is Whitman Loveland, and I'm from Hannibal, New York. I was in Sampson in 1944, in September to November. From there I went to Key West, Florida for sonar. And from Key West I went to New York City, caught my ship there at DE-211 USS Hubbard. While I was in Sampson, I had a fellow that bunked right over me, and his name was Bill Little. And he was only 17, I was 26. So everything we did, he did just before I did. And when we got out of boots, that was the last I see of him. After
47 years, we finally got in touch with each other. He called me on the phone and wanted to know if I remembered the guy the kid he took care of in boot camp. And I says, yeah, hello, Bill Little.
Hi, I'm Bill Hine. I came up here in November 21st, 1942. My memories of Sampson are it's the coldest place in the United States. It was 50 below that winter. And we didn't have any formations going to chow. They called us up. We didn't line up for chow. They called us when they thought they could feed us.
How was the food?
Well, the food was good, just like Mom's. Ha ha. Ever since then, anything I get to eat tastes good.
My name is Charles Enzi. I got here in July of 1944. I was in C Company, Company 145. I was here for 12 weeks, left here in the first week in October. Spent 2 years with them and discharged finally at Lido Beach in Long Island, New York. I was aboard the AKA 52 Zenobia. I was a third-class petty officer. I was a coxswain, which is a third-class bosun's mate today. And I went through the Fort Pierce, Florida Amphibious School and was an LCM coxswain. At this present time, I live in Fruitland Park, Florida, 1,400 miles south of here, and I'm looking forward to going home.
The most memory thing is having baked beans for breakfast, okay? So that's one. Secondly, when they issued out all our GI clothes and it was too heavy to carry, so one of the mates says, put it in that big white bag. That big white bag happened to be our mattress cover. And we dragged it through the whole damn lot. And we got back to the barracks, it was all dirty, and we couldn't put it on our cots to sleep on, so we had to wash them, and I didn't know how to wash them. So, and I was just 19 years old.
Yeah, show him your shirt. Where are you on there, Ted? Let's see if we can point to you. Right there.
Right there he is.
Right.
My name is Bill Matthews. I come from White Plains, New York. This is my 6th year up here. I've yet to meet anyone from my company, but I've made a lot of new friends in the past 6 years. We enjoy coming up here every year. Thank you.
4, 5, 6,
7, 8, 9.
10, 11, 12.
I didn't do it.
This is candid camera.
You want to know what states we're from?
Here you are.
Which one's going to be first? You?
Okay.
You can say.
Your name is?
My name is Robert Schwartzel. I was here from July till about the middle of August. My hometown is Rochester, Pennsylvania, the best state in the Union. And this is my 4th year to come here for a reunion. This fella right here I met for the first time since boot camp in '94. And since then, there has been, we met another fellow on a Sunday, which made 3 of us. Now we have 2 more added this year, and there's another one for this coming Sunday that will make 5 of us. So if anybody can top that, come and tell us. Okay, Jim.
We never should have given you the microphone first. The whole 4 of us were in company 136, unit C-18, and we're all from different states. Bob is from Pennsylvania.
Right.
I'm from Westerly, Rhode Island. Skeet here is from Vermont. And this fine gentleman on my right is from, where are you from? Massachusetts. Oh, Turner's Falls, Massachusetts. This is my first time coming here. I left New York State when I was 67. I lived in Rhode Island for 4 years to escape the Como gang, and the first year I got Rhode Island, he got beat. But I like fishing out there, so I'm not coming back. But this is a great reunion. This is the first time we ever had this many people together from one unit. And we don't really have much time left, so it's a great accomplishment, and it's wonderful to meet the guys and their families and everything. And I pass this off to Ski here.
We're looking for more.
Okay, I'm Ski. I'm from Vermont.
Would you say Bleshby?
Last name.
Oh, Sprague. Sprague. Actually, my name is Llewellyn. That's a good reason to call me Ski. I've been talking to Jim here for the last year on the phone. We've written to each other about coming here. Yesterday, we were here for lunch, my wife and I, and this gentleman was sitting next to my wife, and she whispered to me and said, "This guy was here in '43." I looked over and I said, "You're not Jim Sheridan, are you?" And he said, "Yeah." Well, he said, "I heard that name before." So we've been talking for a year, finally sat down to lunch together. So that's a little bit of what I got to say.
My name is Walter Kostansky. I come from the town of Turners Falls, which is an area, I could explain it. I'm 15-minute ride from the University of Massachusetts, so that should help. But it's really great to be here today. A lot of memories, and more so that I had an opportunity to look at the photograph that was taken back in 1943, and this afternoon when we get back to our base, back to our apartment, we're going to go over that photo again and to see how many fellas that we certainly remember and the ones that we missed that aren't here today. But it's really a pleasure to be here today.
Well, this is my first reunion. I was recruited down in Florida, and I had to come up here with my buddy to see what was going on, and I gotta tell you, it has been, I feel a little choked up right now. It was really great seeing all of these guys, knowing what a lot of them went through, and still being out here pushing and doing what they had to do. And when I think back, I was just 17, barely into 17 when I went into Sampson, and leaving an Irish home, I didn't even know what a kitchen was, and then being stuck on kitchen duty for a while. Let me tell you, that was quite an experience. And I know, I think I'm really very sorry that they didn't keep the draft going for the youngsters today, because you couldn't get a better experience than being in the service and learning the disciplines and what your country means to you. Thank you.
Tell us your name.
Yeah, the name is Bill Norris, and I was in D Unit in April of 1944, and I gotta tell you, once again, it's been one hell of a great experience.
My name is Harold Thompson. I was here in January 1943. We were here for about 12 weeks. We were one of the first units in G, and I can remember the last 3 weeks we spent putting mattresses on bunks in the other adjoining units. It was very cold that year. In fact, it was so cold that the chief came in one day and said, "You can push your bunks together and sleep with your clothes on, but be very careful." My memories of Sampson were very good, and I'm glad I was a sailor.
I'm from West Berlin, New York, Utica, Rome area. My name is Leo Dabrowski. I came here in Sampson in October '43. I left Christmas Day. I had 3 Christmas dinners, one here, one on a train, and one on the ship I boarded the 26th. I slept on the floor, Pier 92 in New York City.
My name is Mel Nelson. I'm from Toledo, Ohio, and I enlisted in the Navy when I was 17 in 1945, and I spent 10 weeks at Sampson, and then I was transferred to the, after boot camp, I was assigned to the USS Vixen in the Atlantic Fleet with Commander-in-Chief of the Atlantic Fleet. And then later I was transferred in Miami to the USS Pocono, AG-16. And that was about it. And I was discharged in July of 1946.
My name is Bob Robbins. I'm from Connecticut. I had 2 weeks to graduate from high school. I went into the Navy, and I ended up here at Sampson in May of '43. I was here for 7 weeks. I was fortunate enough to be assigned to have my pick as far as what I wanted to do in the Navy. I chose to be an aviation radio man, and I went to 8 months of training, and I ended up in with torpedo planes and also PBMs. Ended up in China by the end of the war. And it's great to come back here to Sampson. I've donated a lot of memorabilia to the museum, and I come back every year and look forward to it.
You fellas leave me speechless. So you put it up here. So my name is Bob Harris. I came in May of '44. 17 years old right off the farm. It was a frightening experience, I'll tell you, to begin with. But I was here, as I recall, for somewhere between 5 and 6 weeks. And I was shipped out of here to Quonset Point, and then we were loaded on a troop train. How long we were down there, I don't remember, several weeks. And went to the West Coast, we picked up a destroyer. They put me in the fire room. And like Bob said, after the war, we was over to Okinawa, and when the war ended, we went to China. I come back. I was fool enough to have enlisted in the regular Navy, so I had to stay till I was 21. And I was discharged in 1947.
I went through Sampson in the winter of '44 and '45, and it's the most snow I had ever seen in my life, before or after. It was unbelievable. Thank you for having me on. My name is Joe Carabio. I'm from Lexington, Massachusetts.
That I will never stand in line again until I got over into the corner. I'm standing in line. I don't know why, but I did.
When were you here at Sampson?
I was here in Sampson in '45.
I was here in '43, and it was in November and December, and the thing that I really remember is being out on the lake in those whaleboats, you know. And cold, it was cold. We had on all the clothes we owned, and you still froze to death. But, you know, really it was a good time, and everybody complained, but I still think we had a good time, and we learned a lot in a big hurry.
I was on Okinawa during World War II, 36th Naval Construction Battalion. And I met here today a young fella that was on Okinawa in another CB outfit on the southern end of the island. And both of us, at the end of the hostilities, had a tour of Shuri Castle, along the Shuri line. Both of us stumbled over a boot with the legs still in it. And both of us remember having been throughout the entire area there, and yet we hadn't met until today. And we were both in CB outfits, but different CB outfits. To me, this was a terrific coincidence.
When I was overseas and we was in the South Pacific, I kind of done a little something I wasn't supposed to. I went way up on the other end of the island, and I had two M1 rifles, a sub-Thompson machine gun, and I'd got into a little island, well, they call it rot gut, but it was alcohol, and I was up after the officers, and they caught me, so I was a gunner's mate 3rd class. And what they done was broke me to seaman 1st. Well, we had a new skipper come on board ship, and the cook that was on there went off. And the skipper says one day, "Is anybody here that can cook?" Aye, because I was a seaman, I wanted to go back up to 3rd class. So just about Thanksgiving time, we pulled up alongside this merchant ship, which was well, originally was from Norway, but the Norwegians, and they gave us a turkey. So I proceeded to prepare this turkey. Now, I'd never cooked a turkey in my life. But anyway, I prepared to cook it, and I could remember Mother always parboiling her chickens, because we lived on a farm, would parboil her chickens, and so I figured, well, I'll throw the turkey in the pot. So I throwed it in the pot and started the old fuel oil stove, and it was cooking, and the skipper come in and he says, "Cookie, how's the turkey?" I says, "It's right there in that pot on the stove." He turned around and looked, and he says, "I'm sorry, son, but he says that turkey wasn't roasted. He says that turkey's turkey soup now." So I didn't lose my rate, but we didn't have very good turkey for that Thanksgiving. I think you can concede that I wasn't much of a cook when it comes to the Navy career. Thank you.
Come with. Oop.
I'm going to introduce the people at the head table, and I'll introduce everybody first, and I'll come back for those who have remarks to make. To my right is our President Steve Bull and his wife Elaine. And then Charles Abrams and his wife Estelle. Charles is our Senior Vice President. Ray and Helen Purcell. And Bruce Fulham, and Bruce will come back a little later and make a few remarks. To my left is Glenn Cook and his wife Louisa. Glenn's going to make a few remarks, and I'll introduce him a little bit more when we get down to the end here. Then we have Reverend Bob Jones, our chaplain, and his wife Rosemary. And Bob and Norma Bennett. Bob's from the VFW. Bruce Fulham, you have a few remarks to make, I believe. Would you come up, please?
I did want to share with you some of the observations I've had in the last year. The museum is a fabulous success. As you all know, visitation's up, 25% over last year. The new wing that you're opening up, you all have seen, I hope, this weekend, is fabulous. Next year, when Steve gets that periscope through the roof, Paul and Flo McGee are going to, I'm sure, greet 1,000 visitors a week. They'll be real happy to know. I also have to say, we're impressed as a community with the economic impact that this association has on us. This weekend we have 195 campsites rented at Sampson, most of them to you folks. It's fabulous to have this many people at a function like this. It means a lot to us. We're real happy you're here. I also want to tell you, I hope you all become members of the new Friends of Sampson. Steve Bull was one of the prime sponsors of that. He's walking away now, but we'll get him. In fact, he's the first official member. It's formed of the Air Force Veterans Association, the Navy, and the community. We have a community member on that board, Jeannie Fagan, who's a professor at the Finger Lakes Community College. And she has told me just 2 days ago that she has now gotten 2 students to do a marketing plan for the museum. Next summer, we hope to have some interns from the museum. We're real excited about how this museum is generating community interest, and you're reaching out and you're getting more and more people to come here to appreciate what happened here. And of course, there's one final reason why I'm real impressed with this association. About 2 weeks ago, I was in the museum, and Steve came over to me and said, "I want to show you something, Bruce." And he opened up this book, the 1997 United States Navy Directory. And I want to tell you just how important this association is to me. It's taken on a whole new meaning. Because he opened up the book and he showed me the listing of all these Navy members and their titles and what they were doing. And of course, a little red line right next to Steve Bull. And it said all the things he'd accomplished. He was the president of the association and this and that and the other thing. But the one thing that struck out in my mind was that he was the director of Sampson State Park. Now, this for some reason stuck out in my mind. And I...
Wait a minute, I didn't put that in there. The Navy put that in there.
Yeah, sure, Steve. And since that time, I'm sure there's no association, no correlation here, but we've gotten the concrete rubble out of the courtyard. We moved the desk into your new office. We put some new gravel down in front. And anything else you want, Steve?
Well, think of it. You gave me an opening there.
Yeah, it took on a whole new meaning, the importance of this association. Yeah, it's great. You guys are doing great things. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. I'd like to say that we really appreciate Bruce. He has been such an asset to our organization. And have a man on his state level to really get behind us is one of the great accomplishments of this organization. Thank you.
I was going to say he was our Sampson State Park manager, but he beat me to it. Next, I would like to introduce Glenn Cook, and I'm going to read you a little bio here. He serves as Executive Director of the Seneca County Industrial Development Agency and Director of the Seneca County Department of Economic Development and Planning. He's also responsible for administering redevelopment activities at the Seneca Army Depot. Mr. Cook is a native of Western New York and has held a number of professional planning and economic development positions in New York State over the past 27 years. He also serves as Vice Chairman of the New York State Economic Development Council and is President of the Society for Genesee and the Lakes, a regional tourism promotion group. Glenn?
Thank you, Captain Isley. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. On behalf of the citizens of Seneca County and their elected representatives, I'm very pleased to welcome you back to our community. Seneca County is the heart of the Finger Lakes region and is widely known for its beauty, its recreational amenities, and its hospitality. However, the unique contributions which Seneca County has made to the nation's history have given it national and indeed international recognition. As you may know, Seneca County is the birthplace of Memorial Day, the Women's Rights Movement, and the Mormon Church. We also have hosted major military facilities for the Army, the Air Force, and of course, the United States Navy. The Navy's presence in Seneca County is an especially important part of our community's history, and with the recent opening of the Sampson World War II Navy Veterans Museum in Sampson State Park, the sailors who trained at Sampson will long have a respected place in our community's chronicles. While preparing for this evening, I did some research on the Sampson Naval Training Station because, like many people born after World War II, I was relatively ignorant of the significance of Sampson. While reading the historical literature, I was impressed with the size of the facility, its role in the war effort, and the logistics involved in its operations. But I also believe that the most interesting part of the Sampson story involves the men and the women who trained there. One of the newspaper accounts at the time noted that a striking aspect of Sampson was the surprisingly young ages of the recruits, many of whom, as minors, had to get parental permission to enlist. I also learned how difficult life was for the recruit at Sampson. The recruits scrubbed, drilled, saluted, and studied until they were exhausted. The Sampson production line was described as geared to make the recruits the way the Navy wanted them: hard, self-reliant, aggressive, and serious. As I look out upon those present this evening, I see people who are no longer young but are still full of life. I also see men and women for whom time has tempered the hardness that war may have brought into their lives. I still see a high degree of self-reliance. After all, your generation was largely responsible for building America into an industrial and military superpower. I see aggressiveness having been replaced by the satisfaction of achieving your life's goals. And finally, I still see a certain amount of seriousness in your faces that reflects the no-nonsense characteristics of your generation. The men and women of Sampson have much to be proud of. I truly hope that your reunion has been a time of positive memories, of friendship renewal, and of opportunity to share your lifetime experiences with those who you served with at Sampson so long ago. Seneca County is indeed honored to have you return to our community, and we want you to know that your service and your sacrifices for our country have not been forgotten. We hope that you'll be returning to Sampson and Seneca County for many, many years to come. Thank you.
This is for the Big E Award, and we'd like you all to hold your applause until we're done. Win Appleknap and Richard Becker. Baker, please come forward.
Yeah,
Sorry about that,
guys. These two men are the master electricians that electrified the whole museum, and they have donated each over $10,000 worth of labor hours. Come on, Richard. And let me tell you, I hired Richard because he's in my hometown to do work for me, and we couldn't afford what he charges, I'll tell you that right now.
Nice job, everyone. Looking right out here, just like that.
I'd just like to say that my wife and I, so far, for the first time we're coming here for this reunion, we're having a very nice time. And I have my friends here, Kenny and Steffi, also came from Hamburg, New York. First, my name? Oh, I'm very sorry. My name is Wilbur Dahlgren. Just call me Will.
I'm Ken Bushard, also from Hamburg, New York. A representative from Post 527 American Legion, and this is my friend Steffi Lindstrom. Her husband also went through boot camp here in 1945. I went through in E Company 1943.
We're Fran and Ray Fritz. We're originally from Shelton, Connecticut, and we're living about 5 minutes down the road now from the Chiropractic College. Retired. I got a home on Seneca Lake, go down to Florida in the winter time and come up here in the summertime. And we enjoy the Finger Lakes very, very much. We like the area, and spent some time over in Hawaii. We were over there when the war ended, and here, I'm going to let you talk now, babe.
I just want to mention that just before we were married, this guy used to tell me about Sampson and how cold and the winds were blowing. I couldn't picture anything so frigid.
My name is Larry Howard. I'm from Walnut, California, and I'm an assistant to the president, Steve Bull. And we have many reunions out in California every year, and usually they have them in April. The next one is coming up on April the 16th, which is on a Thursday, at the Los Angeles Royal Vista Golf Course.
My name is Ray Parker. I joined the Navy from McCain, Pennsylvania when I was 16 years old. I went to Pittsburgh, and I come back on the Erie Lackawanna cattle car with the old steam engine. Came into Sampson, filthy dirty, on my 17th birthday. I went through boots here, and I enjoyed it. Had a good old time here.
I can remember getting to Sampson in February 5th, 1945, in a snowstorm. It was snowing like hell, and I never saw green grass till I got in California, and I think it was the end of April. And all I can remember about Sampson was shoveling snow and getting snow out of the way, and we couldn't go out in the lake because it was froze over.
and all I did was tie knots up in a rigging loft. I'm a Conrad Wolf. I come from Spring Lake Heights, New Jersey. When I went to the Navy, I come from New York. But during the service time, my family moved to New Jersey. So I've been in New Jersey ever since.
I am Francis Murray from Cherry Valley, New York, about 54 miles this side of Albany. I met Bob and Ski here about 4 years ago, and we've had our picture together in one of the magazines that they put out periodically during the year. But now I understand there's 5 of us, so maybe we can get a 5er going together here sometime.
And I was telling a fellow that used to work for me, he was in the Vietnam War, and of course me, World War II, and I was telling him about this. And I remember the guy's name, where he was from. He was married, had 2 kids. So he searched on the internet, and he called me, and he said, look, I got this guy's name and address. Well, I wrote him a letter just a short time ago. I haven't heard anything back. I'm hoping it's the same guy. He did live. Right. We put him on a hospital ship in Iwo Jima, and I didn't think he would live an hour. Wow. But he made it back to the States, and we got a letter from him, and on our ship. So I know he lived, but we, over the years
never
lost
heard
track.
from him after.
But I remember like it was yesterday. This poor man, the side of his face was taken right off, and I just, it's been inside me for years.
It'll be there for years.
Yeah, I guess I'll never get over it.
Oh, you won't. No, you won't.
I remembered him.
But it's good to talk about it.
He was married in 2.
It's probably the best thing of being here for a reunion.
Yeah,
with your buddies, being able
all the more reason.
talk about it.
Yeah, it was that was in 1945. I saw the flag raising on Iwo Jima, and that was really something to be proud of.
See, there's stories that all of us have, but it's never coming out.
Yeah.
And when you do, it's bring back the memories from years and years, which you never thought, until these reunions started coming up.
What is behind me is self-explanatory to all of us. He needs no introduction, for when we look up at him, we are looking at our own reflection. Welcome to all of you. 10 years ago, at our first reunion, in 1987, the New York State VFW Color Guard, champions from the Waterloo VFW Post 6433, honored the Sampson World War II Navy Veterans in raising the flag of the United States at this site. With the assistance of the Sampson World War II Navy Veterans Color Guard, VFW Post 6433 from Waterloo, New York, the VFW Post 6200 from Overton, New York, we will continue this great tradition. Will the captain of the Color Guard please raise the colors and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
2. Order. Hurt.
Our newly elected auxiliary president, Ginger Colville, with the assistance of Kathleen Kelly, will now place a wreath at the Sampson Sailor statue. Commander Steve Toth of the Waterloo VFW Post 6433, please place your wreath. Will Chaplain Bob Jones please give us your blessings?
Guard. At ease.
Let us pray. Almighty God, in whom we live and move and have our being, who art the God of the living and the dead, who has promised never in our lives to leave us desolate. We are thankful that we can turn unto Thee those whom we lose who are no longer with us. We pray, O Father, Thy blessing upon this gathering. And, O God, as we stand at the foot of the Sampson Sailor, it is with a sense of sadness as we remember those who died. It is with a sense of pride that we share the heritage, the experience, and the courage and the love of one another. It is with a sense of joy for us gathered here that we can join with one another at this happy reunion. We are thankful that Thou blessed us. We are thankful for our organization. We are thankful, O Lord, for the memories that are part of our lives now. Upon this statue, O God, the symbol of those past and the symbol of our lives, sanctify it with Thy Holy Spirit. Bless each one of us. Keep us always in Thy favor and watch over us all the days of our lives. In the name of our Lord we pray. Amen.
Amen. Will our President Steve Bull please say a few words?
Thank you. I just want to thank everybody for showing up. Thank you for making this organization such a powerful organization that it's become. We're recognized in the state. We now have enough contacts in the state that we can get things done. Our membership is still increasing, which really surprises me because we're all in the 70s, but we're signing up new members all the time and they want to get on board for the things that you people have accomplished. We're looking forward to next year, our 11th anniversary, when we will finish the museum and we'll have our periscope in, and things are really looking rosy, but it's thankful to all you people. thanks again for coming. Thank you.
Ginger Colville, would you like to say a few words, please?
I'd like to welcome all of you this year as your new president. I hope I can have the cooperation that Helen has had the last couple of years, and we can continue to grow. I'm always open for suggestions. We also always need volunteers. I'm sure you've heard that before. Thank you all for coming.
I have been requested to repeat the poem that I read several years ago at these services. A reminder is that this is a single voice of all our departed veterans. I am not here. Don't stand by my grave and weep, for I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamonds glint on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn's rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift, uplifting rush of quiet birds in circle flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand by my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die. Our gardener will now give the benediction.
May we bow our heads. Almighty God, who knows our every thought, we come here today and we remember how we felt when we arrived. We were young, unsophisticated, scared, and in a short time, through training, we were developed into organized groups. We applied our training and wore forth throughout the world, and were successful. We ask that you will help us rededicate our lives today so that we will continue this wonderful work of bringing the history of our time and generation to those who know it not. We ask you to be with all of us until we meet again and keep us in your everlasting arms. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Before we close these ceremonies, let us please sing one verse of God Bless America. God bless America, land of the free. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America.